What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode in my devlog series. This should be a relatively quick one. I'm just going to go over the spawn system and the money spawn system. So let's get into it. Alright, so we'll take a look at the wave spawner for the zombies first. And right here you'll see I have an empty game object that holds that script and then also the score system. Alright, so I have the wave spawner script here, and this actually, the outline of it actually came from a Brackey's video, so I'm not going to go through every single line. If anything, I could just link in the description to that video for anyone that's interested. As always, great channel, super awesome video if you want to check it out. But the one thing I did want to go over in this script is how I reformatted it a little bit to better fit my game. So specifically what I needed to do was make the wave system automatic, where every time a new wave starts, the script adds X amount of zombies to the wave. So if you take a look here, I have three integers: spawn amount add, current spawn amount, and then zombie total spawn amount. So spawn amount add is going to be how many zombies we're adding at the start of each round. Current spawn amount is going to be what that spawn amount is added to, and then the total spawn amount. So these two integers together is going to make up how many zombies are actually going to be spawned at the start of the round. So now to represent this in the public void wave completed method, where we call certain actions once the round is completed, is where we state zombie total spawn amount equals spawn amount plus current spawn amount. And in order to update this current spawn amount, we just have to write in the update method current spawn amount equals zombie total spawn amount. So just to do the simple math to make better sense of it, let's say at the start of the game, right, current spawn amount is going to be 0. Now let's say we set this integer to 5, so at the start of each round we want to add 5 more zombies. It'll be 0 plus 5 equals 5. Zombie total spawn amount is 5. And then in the update method, the current spawn amount now becomes 5, right? And then at the end of that round, when we start the next round, or when we call this wave completed method again, the current spawn amount is now 5, right? So then 5 plus, again, 5 for the spawn add amount, zombie total spawn amount becomes 10. And then same thing in the update method, current spawn amount becomes 10. Alright, and then the other thing that I added was a variable to represent the round number. So here you see I have serialized field text round number text, and this basically just lives at the top right of the player HUD, and at the start of each round the number increases by 1. And for anyone that doesn't know how to set up text displays, I mean, it's fairly simple. You see here I have a few of them, but you basically just write serialized field text and then whatever the name of this variable is, and then somewhere in the script you're going to write the name of the variable dot text equals, and then the name of whatever variable you want that to match, and then you write dot toString. Alright, and in this script's case, you see I wrote it in the update method, so this is always going to be updated to whatever this number is. Okay, and now if we scroll down to, where do I have it? Okay, the wave completed method, you see here I have round plus plus, so that just adds 1 to the existing number. Alright, so just to briefly show you how this looks in the game, again you see I have the empty game controller, with the wave spawner script on it, and inside this script you see we have round 1, and then at the top right of the player HUD you see it says round 1, and then we have spawn amount add 5, current spawn amount 5, and zombie total spawn amount 5, because again it starts at 0 and then adds whatever we set this variable to. Okay, so we should see at the start of the round 5 zombies spawning. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. So now I'm going to kill them just to... You see it goes to round 2. Now let's just take a look at the wave spawner script. So yep, you see here we have 10. Current spawn amount became 5 plus 5 again equals 10, and then zombie total amount 10. So let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. So now if we take a look at the other script, the loot spawn script, you'll see in the hierarchy, same thing. I have an empty game object, call it money spawner, and then I have that random money spawner script on it, and then as children objects of this money spawner, I have 20 empty game objects, which are going to be used as the spawn points. Okay, so this money spawn script may look a little bit tricky, but it's fairly simple. So first we have a game object for the object we want to spawn. So in my case, it's a treasure chest that you can pick up when you walk over. And then we're going to create an array of game objects for the spawn points. So in this case, this array is going to be 20. A integer for the amount to spawn, an integer for the amount that is spawned, a bool for whether we're done spawning or not, and then I have another integer here called subtract from total spawn points, which is going to be used to determine the actual amount to spawn. I'll get to that in a second. And then finally another game object array called items and map, and I'll get to that as well. Okay, so first things first, in the start method we set the amount spawned to 0 because at the start of the game nothing has been spawned yet, and then we also set the done spawning bool to false, and then spawn points, this game object array, is defined as finding all of the game objects with the tag spawn point. So we write spawn points equals game object dot find game objects with tag spawn points. It's just going to take all of the spawn points and put them into that array. Okay, so now how we actually determine how many game objects we want to spawn. We write in the update method amount to spawn equals spawn points dot length. So we take the size of this array and then we subtract this integer, so whatever we set this to. So in this case, again, I believe I have 20 spawn points, so the length of this array should be 20 minus let's say 5, right? So that equals 15. So the amount to spawn will be 15 game objects. And then to determine the actual amount spawned, we write amount spawned equals items in map dot length. So the size of this array, the items in map array. And then we define that array as game object that find game objects with tag chest. So every time a treasure chest spawns, we add it to this array. So if 15 game objects with the tag chest are spawned, the amount spawned should equal 15. And this actually here is not needed. This was all just a test, so I'll get rid of this for right now. And then if we scroll down, you'll see we have a public void start spawning method, and this is where we actually determine whether we're going to spawn objects or not. So you see we have an if statement that reads if the done spawning bool is false, which again at the start it is set to false, and amount spawned is less than amount to spawn, we're going to call the spawn object method, which is down here, and then this is where we actually spawn. And if amount spawned equals amount to spawn, we want to stop spawning, so we set the done spawning bool to true. So now if we take a look at the spawn object method, okay, first things first, we want to make it or write it so the spawning system is kind of randomized. So you see here I have game object, and then I call it spawn point equals spawn points, and then random dot range 0 and spawn points dot length. So this basically just says when this method is called, set this game object to a random game object within this spawn points array. And once this game object is set and we determine where the object is going to spawn, we also want to make sure that there isn't something already there. So if you take a look at the top here, I have a reference to a script called item spawned bool, and this script is going to live on each spawn point. So you see here, item spawn bool, and so on. Okay, and then how we grab that script or each specific script to the specific spawn point, we just write item spawn bool script equals spawn point dot get component, and then grab the item spawn bool. And then underneath this, we're going to write an if statement to check if an item has been spawned. So we write if item spawn bool script dot item spawned. We have a bool on this script that starts as false, and we just check to make sure that it's false. Okay, so once it's determined that this bool is false, we are going to spawn a copy of the game object. Alright, so we write variable item copy equals instantiate game object, and then we have to pass in 3 parameters. So we write the object to spawn, again in this case that treasure chest, and then we take the spawn point dot transform dot position, and then spawn point dot transform dot rotation. And then we take this variable and we set it as a child of the spawn point. So we write item copy dot transform dot set parent, and then inside we just pass in 1 parameter, and it's the that game object spawn point. So we write spawn point dot transform. Okay, and then we take the item spawn bool script of that spawn point, and we set the bool item spawned to true, and then we add +1 to the amount spawned. And now if we just jump into the item spawn bool script really quick, in order to set this bool back to false when appropriate, I have in the update method an if statement that reads if gameObject.transform.childCount equals 0, item spawned equals false. So basically check to see if there is a child of this object, and if there is not, meaning there's no object spawned in this place, then we reset this bool back to false. So in the event of picking up the spawned item, this would return false. Alright, and just to show you how this money spawn script works with the wave system, if we jump into the wave spawner script, if we scroll down to the wave completed method, which is called when the last zombie is killed, you will see that we take the money spawner script and we set the done spawning bool back to false. So in this case I called it loot spawn script, and then done spawning equals false. And then in the update method, where we are calculating the wave countdown, how much time is left on the clock, where we have if wave countdown is less than or equal to 0, else. So if it's greater than 0, so there's still time on the clock, we reference the money spawn script and we call the start spawning method. So now the way this is going to work, the items in map array, which again is an array of all of the loot boxes with the tag chest, is defined in the update method. It's going to continuously update this number. So if you collect a chest, it's going to subtract. So let's say there's 15 and then you go and you pick up 3, it's going to subtract 3, and items in map is updated to 12. So now let's say when this wave spawner script sets the done spawning bool back to false, and we didn't pick up any chests the previous round, if we spawn 15, amount spawned is 15, it's going to automatically set that done spawning bool back to true. So we're not going to spawn any new objects. However, again, if we did, let's say, pick up 3, amount spawned becomes 12, done spawning is false, and then the amount spawn is less than the amount to spawn, right? 12 is less than 15. It's going to call the spawn object method and just do everything all over again. Okay, so if we take a look at the game, you see here I have the empty game object, money spawner, and there are 17 spawn points. So you see inside this random money spawner script, there are 17 spawn points, okay? And then I set the subtract from total spawn points to 5. So it's going to be 17 minus 5 equals 12. So we should see amount to spawn as 12, and we should see amount spawned 12. Let's see. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Perfect. Alright, so now if we go pick up some objects, we should see that number decrease. One here. Got limited time. It's 2. Oh. We got one more. Alright, so we picked up 3. So we should see... Let's see, money spawner. Yep. 12 minus 3 is 9. Okay. And then we're just going to complete the round so you can see it. We'll get this last one. Alright, so yep, drop to 8. Okay, so the round is over, and we should have spawned another 4, because we were left with 8, and then again 17 minus 5 is 12 we want spawned. 8 plus 4 is 12. Alright, so let's just check and see if there are 12 chests. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yep, so perfect, 12. Okay, and just to show you the item spawned bool that lives inside that script that's on each spawn point. You see here I have money spawn point 17. It does contain a child object, so something was spawned there. You see this bool is set to true. So now let's delete it. Delete the treasure chest as if we picked it up. Okay. And then play. You will see this bool is now false. Okay, and that is it for this week's episode. Again, fairly simple, just went over the spawn systems. I hope this was helpful to anyone that is making a similar thing. And one thing I did want to add, I definitely want to make, along with everything else, the spawn system's a little bit more dynamic. So one thing that I'm probably going to do at some point, and I'll definitely make a video with the update when I do, but the item spawn script, instead of setting one integer for the subtract from total spawn points, so in this example you saw we had it set to 5. I want to randomize this number, so each round it could be subtract 2 from the amount of spawn points, so 17 minus 2 would be 15 items spawned. 6, that would be 11 items spawned. So certain rounds, if you're searching for loot, you may find more chests, as opposed to other rounds you may find less. Alright, and next week's episode, and probably a couple episodes following, will be about aesthetic changes. Currently working in Blender to make my own houses, and I'm gonna, once those are set up in the actual game, I have another file containing a whole bunch of furniture and just decorative house pieces that I'm going to use as spawn points. So for example, if you walk into a bedroom and there's a dresser, you can open up a drawer and there's a chance for a treasure chest to be there. So that'll probably be what the next few episodes are about. So I hope you're looking forward to that, and as always, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.